Hey, Frank here with No Quarters Arcade. Well, I'm going to show you how to install a battery board. Well, Chris is going to show you how to do a battery board. So if Chris can do it, anybody can do it. We do it as Pinbot. This is a System 11 game. I guess we need a little bit more light. Where's our grips at? There we go.
They're next to our best boy.
So that one's not too bad. There's no damage on it here, as you can see. So that ribbon cable's for the displays. If you're not comfortable or you're not sure, you're worried about plugging things in wrong before you put it back, just take a piece of masking tape and mark each wire. It's really not that difficult. Everything's keyed, so everything should pretty much fall back into place. So the plugs are pretty much easy to figure out once you're used to it. This is your power input. This little ribbon goes to the soundboard. That one right there. This is audio out to the soundboard. That's the plug with the black, white, and red. Down here, the black, white, and green wires, that goes to your coin door. That's your test buttons. This is grounds. These two here are coils. And as you see, they're all keyed. They should be keyed. There should be a knockout in there. You see the knockout? And you see how one pin for that one, the second one from the right, is missing. So you can't really plug them in wrong. You can't plug this one. It shouldn't reach, but see, it shouldn't reach, but it won't plug in. White and green, your switch inputs. Green. The yellow and the red are your lamp, your computer-controlled lamps. Give them a little bit of a wiggle and it should pop right out. These are your power input for the lamps. That come from the power supply. That comes from that plug there, the blue and black wires that come to there. These are your flipper control, your special solenoid. As you'll see, the flippers are usually going to be the two wires by themselves. They always go up on the top. And then that's got the knockout there, as you can see, which corresponds to that missing pin right there. And these are switch inputs that go to special solenoids. And then these three at the top are just more information for the displays. And then if you have all the screws in, there should be 8. There's 3 across the top, 2 on the sides, and 3 across the bottom. Take those screws out, and then the board will come out of the game. Alright, so now Chris has the board on the bench. You ready? So, first thing to do is take a little screwdriver and pry the batteries out. Make sure you pry under the battery and between the holder. Don't pry underneath the holder. Now what I recommend you do, you might have the temptation to just desolder these and try to pull it out. The problem is you're not going to get the holes cleaned out just enough. So what we're going to do is, as I suggest, you cut the holder out. So Chris is going to take it and you're going to cut right there as high as you can. And I'll show you why in a minute. So just cut it, cut each leg, go down the line, take your time. Around. Just be careful and don't bend any of those resistor packs down. Don't put any pressure on them. Just let the tool do the work. Cut it out. There you go. So now you can get rid of the battery holder. And the reason why you wanted to leave it long is so you have something to grab onto. So then what you're going to do is take your soldering iron, heat it up there, and then take either a pair of needle nose or a little pair of cutters, heat it up, and then pull each one out. So sorry, this is not a very good size. Oh, there we go. So lift it out. Do the next one. Now technically you don't have to remove the middle ones, but you would at least want to cut them flush so they're not touching the battery board. Sometimes it helps if you lay it a little flat on there. Yeah. Should see that. There it goes. Flopped over. Next one. I'll do it so I can hold it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there to take the tabs out for you, but once you see it flop over, then you know, there you go.
Oops. This is some exciting television.
I know, I'm sure everybody's asleep by now. The 3 people that are going to actually watch this, and you and me are 2 of them. Come on. Yeah, if you have the soldering iron, the tip is just really tarnished, and I really wasn't able to clean it off. So you want a decent soldering iron. I'll talk about tools and stuff like that later on in another video. But for now, a lot of people have asked me about installation instructions. I figure out the best way to do it would be to have me show somebody how to do it, and then you can watch. So now, if you have a solder popper, you can pick one up at either Micro Center or order from Amazon. And you only need to clean out the 4 corner holes. You don't have to clean out the center ones. So again, just heat it back up. You might find it easier to flip the board over too. You can do it that way as well.
Does that go?
Yeah, you'll plunger it down.
Oh.
If we had a real setup here, we'd have a solder pencil holder. No, you don't have to clean the center one out.
Oh, okay.
Actually, let's flip the board over because I'll probably be able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So you want to... Now, another thing is, you see how that hole's kind of clogged up a bit?
That's what she said.
What's your language, kid, you wedgie? So you can put a little bit of solder in there. You can fill it back in and then suck it back out again. Fill it in and suck it out. Don't get too excited. Don't burn yourself. Just the corners. There you go. Just the facts, ma'am. So if you find that you can't get it all the way cleaned out, just put some fresh solder in, because the fresh solder will help melt. It'll transfer the heat and melt the rest of the stuff in there. Soldering's not difficult. It's just sometimes you got to get a feel for.
Good.
We'll shake the board off. Yeah. So
Okay.
do that one. Lay it flat on there. Yeah, you go. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes the point just doesn't get hot enough, and you gotta lay the whole side of it on there. I think we have to make a trip to the store and get another solder station. This thing sucks. Fill it in, okay.
Ooh.
That's all right. It'll blow. We'll shake it off. Shake it off when you're done that last couple of droplets. And there you go, see it melting. Fill it in a bit. There you go. Now pick the board up and just shake them little crumbs off of there. Here, I'll hold that.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, so now, when you get the new battery board, it's good. If you get it from in the United States, I ship it with the batteries, and it comes. The batteries will be in the board. Take them out before you install it. So you can just use a little pair of needle noses or something, a little screwdriver. Just pop them loose, release tabs. Take the batteries out. There we go. So now if you look at the battery board, now this is the Pro Black. It has 2 batteries. This is this will allow the 2 batteries. You can run just 1 battery if you want, and then when the time comes you want to change it, you just pop a battery in the other side and then take the first side out, and then you won't have to worry about losing your settings, or running the 2 batteries together will give you a longer battery life. This is just an optional one. This is only available for certain games. So it'll be for systems 3 through 7, 11, WPC and WPC 95. But if you notice on the board, it's marked with positive, and also too, the side with the diodes is the positive end. And you want to match it up with the positive tabs on the board. And on this case, the system 11 has it on the negative is on the outer edge, at the top edge of the board. See the negative. So you just lay it in there. Now what I do is I hold the soldering iron. So what I'm going to demonstrate this part, Chris, if you want to hold. Just because it's easier for me to explain. What I do is I hold it with my left hand, the finger, and I take the solder. Now if you want, I'm used to doing it like this. If it's not comfortable for you, you can just use a little bit of tape or maybe have somebody help you. But I just tack 2 corners to hold it. And then do the opposite diagonal corner. Now 2 of these ends are just for support. They're not electrical connection, which is these ends here. So, and then you can let it go. Then here you have the 2 points where the electrical connections are made. And obviously the negative side goes to ground, which is right here. You can see it goes into the ground bus. And then this side is the positive, and the positive end feeds into a diode. And that diode is there to prevent the game from trying to charge the batteries up, because these batteries are not rechargeable. Now I have diodes in the board. They don't reduce the life of the battery. They don't have any effect at all. The only reason they're there is that because occasionally these glass diodes will fail. So I put that in there as a fail-safe. So if that diode fails on you, you're not going to have to worry about your batteries burning up because the game's trying to charge them. Just another thing I want to point out is on this circuit is you have another diode right here. What this diode does is this prevents the batteries from trying to power the rest of the board. So basically it isolates the power line to the RAM, which is here, from the rest of the game, from the rest of the power. Otherwise, the game batteries will try to power the board, and it'll drain them overnight, if not in just a few hours. So if you have a situation where the batteries are dying prematurely, if this RAM chip isn't the problem, it's usually this diode. I'm starting to see it more and more on these System 11. So check that out. The way you can tell is that when the batteries are in, if you measure a voltage on this side with no power, then you know that there's leakage. So when you pop the batteries back into the board, what you do is you take the meter, you put the ground on the ground, anywhere on the board is fine. So you can see here that we're measuring 3.28. You're seeing a little bit of a voltage drop here, 3.94. It does not affect the life of the batteries. It's more than enough voltage. 7 years of real-world testing proves that. Then on this side here, you see you're getting the same voltage. And over on this side, you're not getting anything, which is what you should see. So when you turn the game on, then power will flow through this diode, power the RAM chip while the game is on, and then these diodes prevent the batteries from being charged while the game's on. So that's how it works. One last step you can do too is write the month and the year on the batteries, because you're definitely going to forget. Or if you want to set yourself a reminder, put a sticky note somewhere on the game to change the batteries in so many years. If you do it with the power on, you won't lose any of your settings. You shouldn't lose any of your settings. If you're worried about keeping your high scores or any custom settings you have, you just do it with the power on, and you won't have to worry about doing them again. All right, so now Chris is going to plug all the wires back in. Everything will pretty much fall into place. They're keyed. If it doesn't feel like it's going to fit, don't force it. Now remember, that one is a split plug. You got it. You got it, Mac.
I just guesstimated that one.
Should I have Jess call? Push it in. Oh, it didn't sound like it clicked.
Which one?
There you go.
Oh.
Make sure they all click. They're not all seated.
Oh.
There you go. Thought something seemed a little weird. Should I have Jessica get a fire extinguisher and bring it down?
Or a broom to hit me off this when I plug it back in.
Now your ground plug and your diagnostic buttons, they're both 4 pins, they're both the same, and they're not keyed, and you got them backwards.
Which ones?
They're backwards.
Here?
Yep. No. The test credit. Your test button switches. See how the black ones are up on the top, and then the green, white, and black's on the bottom plug, on the far left, on the bottom left corner?
These?
Nope, up. The 4 pins, the ones you just plugged in.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They're the opposite?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with them.
Yeah, because this one was higher.
Worst comes to worst, it'll just be stuck in test. I did that on F14 Tomcat once I plugged in. I couldn't figure out why I kept stepping through the test mode like crazy. That was why.
Worst comes to worst, you and your family will die in a fire.
Now that's a 4-pin plug too. Now that's speaker output, so not that one. But if you look carefully at the plug, you see how there's 2 pins, a blank, and then a single pin? You see it?
Yep.
And then that's the way the pins are on the board
So
too.
it's this one?
Yep.
Alrighty.
You can do that today, like this thing's getting heavy.
Yep, okay. So
Power
this is
plug. That's for your sound.
Yep.
That's your power plug.
Alright.
You skipped over that one too.
Yep, okay.
Oh. Oh, fucker. Hey! What's your language? There you go. Now if you look carefully on the board, you can see, it might be a little bit of glare, but on that upper right corner of that header, there's the number 1. That's where the red wire goes, to number 1. So if you're ever confused, see the ribbon cable that's dangling on the floor? No, down here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Okay. Ooh.
So red goes to pin 1, assuming that it's the correct way on the other side.
Hold on, I'm not going to bend these pins.
Maybe I have to shift it over a smidge.
There we go. Alright.
All right,
That's it?
that's it.
Alright. What about this one here, up here?
That doesn't get used.
No? Okay.
Nope. All right, let's flip it on. Let's see if there's smoke. Either it'll work or we'll have smoke and flames. Nothing. All right, I think we got this now. All right. Whoa. I'm going to stand back. Your fire insurance is paid, right?
I don't know what that is.
It used to work. What happened? Did you turn the breaker off? I think we turned the breaker off.
Off?
There we go.
I turned off.
So now, I'm not going to go through the details. You just set your... Step through the adjustments. Anything you want to set, mainly just put it up to free play. Now I turn this off. It's up to you. By default, I turn off the automatic high score reset. Turn it on to free play. Any other adjustments you want to make, you can make. Otherwise, just step it through. Let it reset. Turn it off. And you let it set for a minute. And if all is good, boot back up and your memory is saved. What do you think?
Good.
Easy?
Yeah.
You ready to do 10 more?
I wish I had 10 more.
Give it a couple of weeks, you'll have them. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.